Now, SI has actually cut the pay of pilots. It's been in the news. And this article actually interviewed quite a few number of pilots, and it really had something very interesting. This article, let me pull out for you to see. It's mentioned that this 50-year-old pilot, who declined to be named luckily, because right now there's a lot of backlash on it, he used to earn on average $23,000, but right now he only earns a measly $13,000. He also shares that his expenses add up to be $19,000 a month, and it's not right for him to give up his stocks, bonds, and properties. He'll almost get a second job or sell his clothes away if he requires. Now, when you look around on the internet, there's a lot of ridicule to it. This guy actually mentions 19,000 expenses a month. This can actually feed 3 to 4 mid-sized families in terms of cost of living. It is true. This guy also mentioned that if he has 13K, he's pretty sure he can save $10,000. And this guy also mentions it's all about wants versus needs. Is it as simple as that? Today's discussion, I want to have this heart-to-heart sharing with you, because just in case you're at the start of a career, moving forward, you're going to have a lot of pay increment. This video really hits you right point of time. I want to share with you also, if you have been struggling to save, listen to what is inside this video, because I'm going to touch on and expand the topic a lot on lifestyle creep. Because lifestyle creep is something very invisible. It's like a hot tub. When you go to jacuzzi, you slowly turn on the heat. You feel okay as you increase the heat because you're acclimatizing. It's like this saying of boiling frogs. If you throw a frog into a boiling pot of soup, the frog will jump out, correct? But if you put the frog inside, he slowly turn on the heat. What will happen? The frog will actually, get used to it, and eventually the frog get cooked inside. So it's the same thing. Increasing amounts of money actually gives you this sensation that you get used to it, and that really explains lifestyle creep a lot. I also saw before on how to explain lifestyle creep. I want to do some research for you. This is actually by Money Sense, and there are a few key points. The first dimension: let your expenses lag, and that is true. But firstly, you must keep track of expenses. If you're not keeping track, then you have a problem, because you don't even know how to lag your expenses behind your income. But the second part they mentioned, you have to buy what you really want, and it's not going to work in my opinion. I'll give you an explanation why. When it comes to lifestyle creep, it happens over a long period of time, which means it's hard to notice. You kind of tweak bit by bit. Even for myself, or rather everybody, we are all a victim of lifestyle creep. Myself, right now, I like to park inside shopping malls. I don't like to park in the neighborhood car parks and walk 5-10 minutes in the sun. I don't want that anymore. I'm willing to pay $2-3 in parking because I'm thinking about time. So again, it's lifestyle creep, because I want to feel, that time is precious. I want to be pampered. I don't want to walk in the sun. So it's all very subconscious, small little decisions. And this portion, let me explain also. In terms of pilots, I've actually friends who are pilots, and I do know within the circle they do drive nice cars, BMWs. And how it always works is like this: when you are a young cadet, you're just starting, or just a pilot, just graduated, you drive a BMW 1, and how much does it cost? It costs $150,000. Then after flying for a couple of years, you clock some miles, you get, become a captain. Then you change your BMW 3, because most of your peers are driving BMW 3, and it costs $200,000. And when you become a senior pilot, with your pay now really above, most of the population, what you drive a BMW 5, which costs $300,000. I'm not exaggerating. I have real figures for you to see. But really, when it comes to this, you have to understand, when you are young and when you don't have income, you perceive that guy spending $300,000 on a car as I won't do that. But it's not true. When you get to that point, you look around your peers, you look around your colleagues, you realize that peer pressure, that the entitlement sense is very strong. When you don't have the money, you don't have the choice. But when you have the money, you have the choice. The peer pressure, the expectation is what I'm trying to warn you. It's not as simple as needs versus wants. It's always not like that. This saying is very, very accurate. Lifestyle creep, how it's meant to be defined is, the expectation on luxury goods and discretionary is a right to have. Those who have become pilots, they believe that they are entitled to spend their money simply because they leave behind their families. They are on extended flying trips. They want to pamper themselves. They feel that they have, they are in this privileged group. They have gotten through a very tough selection process, and they feel they deserve to have this right to spend on luxury and discretionary spending, like a good BMW, fantastic holiday with family, etc., etc. So when you're in the position, your perspective will be different. That's why today, if you haven't earned a lot of money yet, be very aware of lifestyle creep. I'm going to give you towards the end of the video some solutions, because in case next time in future you earn a lot of money, you remember how to tackle lifestyle creep a little bit better. You know Mark Zuckerberg, he used to drive a very simple car, but right now he also has a car collection series. So again, everybody have their right to spend money, but again, he has a lot of money, so it's not the same as us. What about stories of athletes who are making a lot of money? Have you heard of Scottie Pippen? I don't know if you follow NBA, but Scottie Pippen is Michael Jordan's sidekick. Scottie Pippen is one of the best NBA players. He has actually blown $4 million on a jet plane. Last time, NBA players were already making millions. But again, how you spend is very difficult to keep track sometimes because money comes in so quickly, and in the rush, you actually spend on big luxury things which you feel you deserve. But he's not the most extreme example. This guy, Anthoine Walker, there's actually a YouTube video, I'll leave links below just in case you're curious to hear the story. Anthoine Walker very generously shared his journey. He actually blown most of his 100 million in terms of lifetime earnings away. $100 million. Where did he spend? In any case, if you don't have time to watch the video, he spent it on cars. He's spending on luxury watches. He's spending on jewelry. He treated his friends, families to lavish trips. When you have that money, people come looking for you. Right now, nobody looks for you yet because you haven't had that kind of money. But once you have that money, you want to pamper your family. Maybe your parents start to ask you for money. So again, don't judge too quickly. That pilot having 19,000 expenses, he is being too extreme. It's not the case. Lifestyle creep affects everybody. If you do not tackle it well, you can get stuck also. So don't think you're very different yet. A few simple solutions, how to battle it a little bit better. The first thing is you have to be aware of it. Today you hear this tutorial, hopefully it helps you. If you're not even aware, you're going to get stuck. But at least today, after going through what I have shared for you, you are very much aware. Go and keep track of your last 3 months' expenses. Is there any big ticket items that you have spent on? A fancy dress, a fancy suit that costs a few $100s? Or luxury dinner, that you have actually splurged a few $100s? Think back whether previously when you didn't have that money, were you spending this or not? Because if not, you have to be honest about it. Lifestyle creep is also creeping up on you. But the more important part, this is a very special tip that I have for you today because you have stayed to the end of the video with me. I have this suggestion. You be very careful who you idolize, because if you idolize someone who's having that luxury item, very likely when you get the money, you will spend it that way. I'll give you my example. When I first joined financial planning industry, my boss used to drive a Toyota Camry. And for many years, I thought Toyota Camry is, if I make it, I'll probably drive that. It's not too luxurious. It's still a good enough car. It's not like a BM5, something like that. So when I actually started making money, one of the cars that I had previously was a Toyota Camry. So I idolized him. He impacted my decision to buy a Toyota Camry. But right now I'm driving a Mazda 6. If you have followed this channel, you do know that. Because Toyota Camry and Mazda 6, there's a 40,000 gap in price, something like that. And I'm not driving a Toyota Camry anymore. So my tip is be very careful who you idolize. If not, you will get into that path once you have that money. If your boss is driving a Merc and you're thinking, hey, I want to be like my boss one day. When you get promoted, guess what you buy? You buy a Merc. So be very careful who you idolize. That's a very important tip I have for you. And to end things with, I have 2 videos to invite you to watch. If you are somewhere in the middle of a career, watch this video on financial freedom. 8 habits to get to financial freedom. Unfortunately, the pilot who has lost his job, I'm not too sure how far he is in his financial planning journey. Financial freedom journey rather. So if you haven't seen a video inviting you to that, the other one, if you are newly into workforce, watch this 50-30-20 budgeting rule. It's going to help you manage your budgets and stick to that no matter what your pay inflates to in future. Because one day you have that money, one day you avoid blowing it away, and one day you'll be towards financial freedom much better than some of the pilots featured in the article. With that, I'll sign off. Smash on like if you have benefited and share this message with anyone who should hear this also. With that, I'll see you again. Bye-bye.